Think about a lot of songs, it's like women, money, and drugs. Like those are the things that you list. How are drugs and money equivalent to a human being? Hey, beautiful people. I'm Addie.
I'm Everett.
And this is Couple Talk.
Rape culture. Why does it happen? What does that even mean? That's what we're going to talk about. Quick disclaimer, the article that we're going to reference throughout the video is generally talking about men sexualizing women. We recognize that there are a lot of challenges with that because gender is fluid, and also it's not always men sexualizing women. It could be women sexualizing men, or men, or what. There's so many cases. But again, we're just talking about, in this scenario, men sexualizing women.
Yeah, because rape culture most often refers to men sexualizing women,
right,
or women identifying people, and that is why we are discussing that. So that's our disclaimer.
So, what is rape culture?
Marshall University defines rape culture as an environment in which rape is prevalent and in which sexual violence against women is normalized and excused in media and through popular culture. Rape culture is perpetuated through the use of misogynistic language, the objectification of women's bodies, and the glamorization of sexual violence, thereby creating a society that disregards women's rights and safeties. So that's pretty packed. So in a nutshell, rape culture is the she was asking for it ideology. Right? This ideology that normalizes sexual violence and then blames the victim of the sexual violence for its cause, right? So a prime example of it is she was wearing a short skirt, or she got drunk, or she went into the bedroom with him. All of these things, these choices that she made, which led to her being raped. But the reality is the perpetrator, the man, made the choice to rape her. And that is not what is expressed when media and news sources and general voices in our culture talk about rape, right? They always talk about the choices that women made, but not the most important choice that the men made to rape the women.
Also, what is normalized is boys will be boys. That phrase of they're just looking for girls, or they were just partying, or they were young. So a lot of those things that come up I recognize that they're normalized, but it's not
normal.
That truly is rape culture. So there's almost this idea of we can't help ourselves. We can't control ourselves. We're animals, or we're working on instinct, or whatever it is. It's truly backward. It's not okay. As a boy growing up, I recognize that is what we desired, getting the women.
I want to ask you this question. Do you feel like you wanting to get the women was 100% instinctual, or was it what you felt like you were supposed to, if not had a right to do?
So it's not that I had a right to do, but I'll tell you what, it did feel like some sort of status. Like if I had women around, or I was hanging with women, or I was with women, I felt like I had more of a status. And so the woman next to me turned into an object in that moment, right? Because it didn't matter, right? It didn't matter. The culturally prettier the girl is, the more status I had.
Almost like the cooler your car.
Yeah, that's
right?
it. Literally, it's like a trophy wife.
Right.
Trophy wife.
And part of rape culture is the idea of women being objectified,
right,
seen as objects, in media. You think about a lot of songs, it's like women, money, and drugs. Like those are the things that you list. How are drugs and money equivalent to a human being?
Wow.
Right? How is that listed in the three things that you want to have as yours?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and so-
have as yours, which enhances this idea of having women as objects. Everything we're explaining is the epitome of rape culture. It's so real.
Yeah.
It's so real. One realization I had with finding you. Remember, we were at Walmart, and it was about 10:30 p.m. and you go, "Wow, I'm so glad you're here. I wouldn't go this late usually." And I'm thinking, "Oh, why is it busy this time or what's going on?" But no, the fact was you didn't want to get out of the car because of past experiences you've had and past experiences your friends have had in public parking lots.
Yeah, at night.
And that's not something
The
I
fact-
ever think about because I have privilege to
Right.
be a man. I didn't choose to be a man, but here I am. And I have this privilege of going to the grocery store at 2 a.m. if I wanted to with no threats.
Right.
My biggest threat is getting robbed. Your biggest threat is getting taken as a sex slave. That's real.
Yeah, you know, it's not even a thought. Once the sun goes down, if I wanted to go on a run that day, well, I'm gonna have to wait till tomorrow. You know,
Damn.
unless I have someone. Maybe I'll get gas, but like I'm very on edge. You know, I have I have this on my keys at all time, my pepper spray, right? You would never think this annoys you. You take it off when you take my keys. but for me it's essential.
Yeah.
You know, and this idea of women needing to constantly protect themselves against this entitled idea
Okay.
that men have a right to women's bodies
Yeah.
and the men who act on that idea.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a reality for all women, you know. I don't know the statistics on it, but even for the women who don't ever get raped in their lifetime, rape culture affects them every day. Because
Yes.
every day you're afraid. It's in the back of your mind. Like if I'm alone, I am vulnerable to being sexually assaulted. So even on a smaller scale in media, if you watch a movie as a woman, many of the movies and the shows that you watch portray women as objects or candy on a man's arm. You know, things to be commanded, things to be pushed away, things to be played with, instead of humans.
You think about like a boss or some sort, where you think about the scene where there's someone sitting in the chair with women sitting on the chair with them or around them, and then someone comes in for business and he essentially says shoo to the women and they scurry off. That develops in boys and men this entitlement, like men are talking, or you don't understand, you're just a plaything. These thoughts, whether consciously or subconsciously, are within us.
Yeah, and that's the issue. It starts by dehumanizing women as objects, and then that gives men the ability to take them because it's what men do. And so that in itself is rape culture. It is a system of ideologies that dehumanize women, which normalizes sexual violence and then blames the victim. Another example of placing the responsibility on women to stop boys from being boys is the dress codes that are prevalent throughout American schools and the workforce. So we have these dress codes that are geared toward women having to cover up. It's like your shorts have to go fingertip length and you have to have like 3 fingers here, and your shirt can't cut down a certain amount. But what is there for boys? Like, keep your pants up?
Right.
You know, and I have personally experienced having to change my clothes. My friends have experienced being sent home, being taken out of their learning environment and having to go home because they wore something that was too expressive and that might elicit unwelcome reactions from boys.
I want to make it very clear, men, women that are listening, I said this earlier, it isn't a woman's job, duty, or requirement to manage the sexual emotion or physical response of the opposite sex based on their clothing selection, body, or choice of words. It is in no way, shape, or form the responsibility of me to actively worry about what others are thinking of me based on what I'm wearing. If I want to wear no shirt and a bikini thong, I shouldn't. It doesn't matter if you have a problem with it, because it's yours to address.
And it's your body.
And it's my body. That's
and
exactly
that's the
right.
point, and this is what we're trying to get to. Clearly, rape culture is prevalent. What do we do about it?
Yes. What do we do
right?
about it?
How do we
Yes.
reclaim our bodies? How do we say no more?
Mm-hmm.
Because the truth is that women have power, and we do have a voice, and especially when that voice is allied with men who choose to stand with us. Well, not even.
Even because I think about Black Lives Matter. It's nothing without the white people in the crowd.
Yeah, right. We need to stand with our oppressors.
Yes.
Right? Because the oppressors make the change, not the oppressed.
Yes, exactly. So what can we do in this rape culture? Men, women, what can we do? Women, you feel like a victim all the time, maybe not. Men, you might feel shame. This is how we address it. Women, know your power. I'll let you get into this, but I'll talk briefly about it. Know that you have power and you aren't just a victim. Know that if someone tells you no, or someone tells you you need to do something, that doesn't automatically mean you succumb to the pressure of the world. I recognize that's more challenging to do than to say, but maybe actively think about that. Men, what can we do? Should we feel shame? No, that's not really helpful. What we should do is empower women, empower your wives, empower your whatever, empower your sister, your mom, your grandmother, empower them and stand with them when you recognize that they're being oppressed, pushed aside, or objectified based on their sexuality.
Mm-hmm. And stop subscribing to media that proposes this idea that women are objects. Put your money where your heart is, and if you're truly looking to make a change, then you are going to stop supporting these things that are inherently propagating rape culture, right? I mean, that goes for men and women, but men especially. For women, I can only speak from my perspective. I do know a few things that I've done myself to stand in my power in situations where it is wanted to be taken away from me. And that looks like me wearing this, me wearing what I want to wear, what I feel beautiful in, no matter the crowd. And I've worn it proudly. And in those moments, I've empowered other women to make the choice to maybe not wear what I'm wearing, but speak up for themselves a little more and recognize their beauty a little more and recognize that they aren't just for men to use a little more. So that's step one. Step two, be hot and be beautiful. And don't be ashamed of that. For so long, I didn't want to be pretty because I felt so uncomfortable by the looks and the men and the comments and the people coming up to you and saying weird, creepy stuff. And I just didn't want it. So I would dress down and hide my body and make myself unattractive. And that was my natural response to the situation that I was living in fear. However, it was inherently feeding into rape culture.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I was giving the power to the men instead of claiming it for myself.
Mm-hmm. And another problem with that is when women see another woman feeling the oppression and then becoming oppressed, they too feel almost helpless. I recognize that's not always the case, but it is in some ways. When you stand in your power and when you stand in your light, you give other people an opportunity to share their light too. It's hard to find your switch when it's dark. If someone else gives you a little help, it's really, really easy. And so when you stand in your sexiness, when you stand in your beauty, whatever that looks like to you, it's valuable not just for you. It's valuable for your sister, your best friends, your mom in some cases, your daughter, your aunt, whatever. It's powerful beyond what you know.
So women, not only are you so powerful on your own, but you have the power to empower other women and stand together as even stronger. Number 3, when you are standing in your power and you're looking beautiful and you're wearing what you want to wear, set very clear boundaries for yourself. You don't have to take the creepy comments and the looks and sometimes the touching. You don't. You can say no. You can say, no, thank you. Please don't say that to me. You can say, please don't look at me that way. You can say, nope, don't touch me. You can do those things. And when you do that, it makes the people who think that you are theirs for the taking realize that you are in fact not. And they then take a step back and begin to learn to respect you.
Because of your strength, you've now elicited a chance for growth within someone else. Because of your trueness to yourself, because of your standing in your power, putting down your boundary and not moving, you have cultivated a place for love and growth.
And truth, it's crappy. It's crappy that you have to do that. It's crappy that you have to go through your day in this world every day defending yourself and your choices and setting your boundaries and telling people to back off. It sucks. But right now, it's where we're at. And change starts somewhere. And unfortunately, the culture we exist in perpetuates dehumanizing and objectifying women. And we need to turn that around somehow.
Turn that around. This is how you do it. We've given you some tools to help you. Hopefully, we've empowered just one person. You guys have been showing a ton of love to our channel, to us. It's been so welcome and so awesome. It inspires us and encourages us to do more of these.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity to have these very vulnerable, very hot topic conversations with you, especially in a society that tries to suppress these kinds of conversations. We love to talk about it with each other, and we love to talk about it with you. So please comment your thoughts down below. We don't know everything. Like I said, we're talking from our perspective only, and we love to learn. Don't forget to click that bell, and we'll see you in the next one.
Peace.